working you to that like that, they've forgotten
Mm,
that these three things are still open ended because they are overwhelmed from the stuff that
hmm.
they're getting. It's a conversation. I say it like everything is a conversation.
Everything is a conversation.
Yeah,
Needs to be.
it should be.
Everything needs to be a conversation.
Well, it's assumptions that what's happening is where there's not a conversation, it's a bunch of assumptions, right? So
Mm,
now I
hmm.
have these three projects on my plate, big projects, deadlines that I have been going hard on, working overtime, staying late, all on the weekends, can't even do stuff with my family because just work is important, not even kidding, right?
Right.
And now my manager comes and gives me another thing, and instead of me using my words, like, what's wrong with that? I sit there and assume that now I'm feeling my manager don't care about me. My
Right.
manager don't care about my family. When the manager forgot about the other two things that you was doing because the board told them, listen, we got to shift from this to that. We got to pivot, boom, boom, boom. And the manager like completely forgot, like, oh my God, Drew, I forgot I even gave you that. I'm sorry. Our strategy had to change here and we're gonna have to put that on hold. But you just taking all the things, making assumptions that your manager is a horrible person. And then there's a
Right.
case where your manager may be. So, I mean, listen, either could be true, but what I'm saying is the conversation with the
Hmm.
manager is going to tell you which one it is.
You right.
Yeah,
You all right.
it's conversation. Use your words. I said all the time. I mean,
Use your words. Nothing
respectfully,
hurts. Right. Oh
use
yeah,
your words.
definitely.
Definitely respect, but
Definitely.
use your words. And why are you feeling like you can't is the bigger question for me, right? Like if you're in an
Mm,
environment where you don't even feel like there's space for you to ask, well, hey, but what about this thing that we've been working on for the past 2 months? Are we saying to put this on hold and take on this? The answer may be yes. And the answer may be, oh my God, I completely forgot. Yeah, sorry. We're
hmm.
going to have to put that on hold, go back. It makes you feel better in your working relationship when you can have those types of exchanges about changing
Right.
priorities. It helps the working relationship and it removes all those negative feelings and assumptions.
And I agree with you. And I think a lot of the reasons that people don't do that is based off of fear. People don't have conversations and they
Mm,
don't, you know, I'm not gonna say challenge things, but don't question things maybe or offer other suggestions or say no out of fear. A
fear of
lot
what?
of
Fear of
everything.
what, Drew? Fear of what?
Depends on the situation, but maybe like in
Okay.
the workplace, it might be the fear of, getting fired, of course. There's the fear of,
Mm,
challenging that authority, or the fear of being on the radar, saying
mm,
no in relationships or with friends is that fear of rejection, that fear of abandonment, that fear of being alone.
mm.
So there's a lot of stuff I think that
Yeah,
causes us not to say no or not to suggest things or not to quote unquote challenge things. And I think a lot of it has to do with that fear.
that's
Most of us
deep.
want to be liked and accepted, even in the workplace, maybe not so much on a friendship level at the workplace, but you want to be a good employee and things like that. And so I think a lot of it is based off of fear.
You know what you just said, right? That's we should put a pin there and come back to the whole fear thing because that is interesting and deep, and I think a
Hmm.
larger conversation. Like fear of what? That's interesting, but this, fear of like not being liked or like desire to
Hmm.
be liked in a workplace. So why? My question is like, why?
Why
Why do
would
I
you?
need to be liked in the workplace? That would be my question.
Hmm. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's a good one.
I mean,
Why?
it's
Let's
work.
see.
It's work, and I think, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just easy for me to say that because my personality over there. But I mean, I just what it's work.
Right.
It's
But
work.
then again, we think about it too. I'm thinking about when I was still, my last job that I had before doing this. Um, spend majority of your day there.
Mm-hmm.
Spend majority of your day there. These people, you're there with them this entire time. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that desire to be liked or, to try to get rid of that fear is because, in a way, for a lot of people, this does become almost like another family. It
I
just
was gonna
becomes
say, don't
another
say it. I
community
was
for
gonna say,
sure.
don't say it, Andrew. Don't please don't
A
say another
community.
family.
I
Don't
say,
say it.
I say it becomes a
Don't say it.
community. a comedian.
Um,
But there's
I
also,
yeah.
and don't say that. Scratch that off the record. Did not say
No,
that.
I mean, I was saying that don't say it because so many people say that. And then I come back and say, why why are these people your family? Now, this is listen, this will go so deep. This will go so deep
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
because
Hope y'all
based on
listening.
listen, I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying I'm deep. This conversation can get deep because when people say like, this is like my family, I was like, don't say it, Drew. Don't say it, Drew, because
Yeah.
I knew that it was going to take me here, right? I spent a
Mm,
lot of time talking to employees in different
mm,
organizations, trying to, have conversations and coach around having healthy boundaries at work,
mm,
and saying that the reason why you keep getting, so hurt in the workplace is because, like you've
mm,
said, I made this my family. Then you have to
mm,
look at the function or the dysfunction in your family, in your natural family.
mm,
So
mm,
it's like either you have a good relationship with family, either you don't. Like, how did you come up? Were you raised in the, in a family environment?
mm,
Did you spend a lot of time away from your family? Did you not have a relationship with your family? So you bring all of that, however your
mm,
family experience was or wasn't, you bring that into the workplace, and where there are voids of natural family, you try to find it in the work people. And what
mhm.
I'm saying is, these are work people, these are not your family.
I feel you. I feel you. But I'll take into my consideration. I live here in Tucson, Arizona. For all those who don't know, originally from New Orleans.
Yep.
And so I moved from New Orleans to Tucson for a job. And
Yep.
so I can use that dreaded term work family because
Yeah.
they were all that I knew here. They were
Mm-hmm.
all that I had. So,
Yep.
for me, it wasn't, me trying to bring anything from, my family back home to this. This was all I knew.
Mm-hmm.
I no longer work there anymore. And but you're right. I no longer work there. So a lot of those people I don't talk to anymore. There's maybe two or three that I still keep in contact with.
Mm-hmm.
But so that idea of family, of course, that's not how families work. But
Or do
you
they?
know, ooh, ooh,
Or do they? What I'm saying is, I told y'all
dang.
this is so unscripted, but what I'm saying is, your definition of family and my definition of
Hmm.
family is going to be not the same, right? It's
True.
not, because it's how you grew up, it's how I grew up, is what was the culture in your family versus and
Mm-hmm.
then I'm saying, and then we bring that into the workplace. So if I didn't have what I wanted to have in my
Hmm.
family, then I come to work trying to feel that here. That's what a lot of people get,
Hmm.
like feelings hurt, like disappointed, like, I mean, literally, I mean, like traumatized in the workplace because it's like,
Hmm.
I thought we was family. Why did you think that? This is work.
Right.
And
Mm.
I'm not even saying I'm right. I'm just offering
Oh, I
another
feel you.
opinion. I'm never
Hmm.
saying I'm right, but what I'm saying is like, why am I coming into a workplace? And I hear you and I agree. I spend the bulk of my day here every
Hmm.
day, but it's still work. Like
Still
when
work.
I leave here, what am I going to? And maybe you might
Hmm.
say, well, Belinda, I'm not going to anything. And I'm saying, I hear you. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you feel that here in these 8 hours with these people who you do not know.
Hmm.
It's work, and work can be, it can be a good group of work. Listen, I've had great, working relationships. And
Hmm.
then, but to your point, when you leave a job and move on, then I mean, it was great and now it's over. I mean, like, is that
Right.
family? I mean, I just to equate the two is just like it's a question mark for me, I think.
I got you. I get it. Hey, that's a hell of a perspective.
Mhm.
It's a hell of a perspective. But I think a lot of that goes with that too. Kind of like when we started the conversation with that fear, having that idea of fear. So if you do consider these
Mm.
people family, I think that can add to that fear of disappointing them.
Mhm. Mhm. That fear of disappointing, that's, yeah, yeah, that's a big one.
Hmm.
Fear of disappointing
Yeah.
people, fear of disappointing family, fear of disappointing people who you love or people who love me. No, absolutely, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that. Um, but I think, like, going back to that, no is a complete statement. Like, having healthy boundaries around work or
Mm-hmm.
around, even, like I said, respectfully, not even saying no to your supervisor. Like, don't lose your job listening to this podcast, right?
Right.
Like, don't go back to work talking about, well, workplace wellness matters. Said no, don't do that, right? Because
Like, we appreciate the shout out, but nah.
don't don't do that. But what I'm saying is taking some of what we're saying and, like, seeing where it applies. Like, where can you say no? And no is not going into the office and your supervisor saying, hey, Drew, like, I need you to give me that report. No, nah, that's not what we're saying. But it's just like, if you have to take on another project, is there a space to say, well, hey, yes, and can you help me prioritize this? Because they forgot that you had this other thing, right?
Right.
Saying no is not necessarily a, blatant disrespectful, like,
Right.
no, I'm not doing that, because you need your job. This is fair,
You need
right?
you need the
You
job.
you need you have rent, mortgage, all the things, and so, and you want to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So don't lose your job. But what I'm saying is, in some cases, if the work is just, like, unhealthy for you mentally, physically, emotionally, if you just, like, work, 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 you have no time to have a life, like, you may need to say no to some things, and bigger things than just a deadline or a project.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that was good. That was deep. Once again, we got deep, but and that brings us right at the time, y'all. Thank y'all for
How
listening.
how is it time already? How does this
We
keep
just
happening?
like we
Because we're
saying,
just
we
having an
just
amazing
not
conversation, and
scripted.
it
We
just
just
goes
talking,
on, and yeah, and then
and we're just vibing
we
off
look
each
at the
other. And then
time
you
and,
say
like, oh
something
shoot,
deep, and we gotta go
that's
deeper.
it. No.
That's how it
Well,
goes.
hopefully something in the conversation helps us to start to think about where we can say
Mm-hmm.
no without guilt, right? Because if it's
Mm,
prioritizing your self-care, mental
mm-hmm.
well-being, then there should be no guilt attached to that. I think that is
I
the
agree.
takeaway today. Yeah, no, for sure.
That is
Well,
it.
I can't believe we're at time already. Okay.
We are at time. Thank you guys for listening. As
Of course.
always, you can find this podcast and others on our website, www.betterworkplace, www dot, forgot the dot, betterworkplacewellness.com. You can find us on YouTube, on Spotify, and on Apple. Just type in Workplace Wellness Matters. You can find the podcast as well on our individual social media pages,
Yeah.
Belinda Fly and Andrew Watley.
Yeah.
You can also find out more information about us, the podcast, and our store that we keep talking about on our website, www.betterworkplacewellness.com. I don't know if I even said that already. I think I did. But we would love to hear from you guys. If you want to just give us more topics
Yeah.
that you want to discuss, or if you are interested in sponsorship, please email us at
Mm-hmm.
info at
Mm-hmm.
betterworkplacewellness.com. I think that is all of it. I think I got through it all.
I think you
Thank you
did.
guys for listening. And remember that wellness is a choice.
So please choose to be well. Until next time, thank you.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Happy birthday, Dad.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Workplace Wellness Matters podcast, made possible by our sponsors and co produced by Odell Vickers Jr. We'd love to hear from you. If you would like to become a sponsor or have topic ideas, please email us at info at betterworkplacewellness.com. Join us every Monday at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, streaming on Facebook and Instagram, replaying on Spotify and YouTube. Until next time, remember, wellness is a choice, and we want you to choose to be well.